Hello everybody, I will show you how you can set up your Animpet Animesh player for any Animesh. I will use the horse as an example, but the same things can be applied to any Animesh, including animals, pets, humanoids, even vehicles or anything moving on a pet finding pet. So let's start with setting up the how you can change the design. This is the HUD you will receive. However, you can change any design of this by simply dragging and dropping your textures onto it. That includes the background, foreground, all of them. Basically, you just that's the original of them. Let's say I'll just go here. Let's say this one or this one. That's how you do it, and that's valid for all of these. You will receive the UV map and sample empty buttons as a guide to create your own designs. So you can add 14 still animations, or actually 28 still animations, or 28 because there are stories in here. Technically, just close this as well. There are stories in here. That is the animation sequences you can create. Basically, let's say in that case the horse is running, walking, eating, and then stopping, and all of this can be set to here as a story. So I'll just go to what we'll do first. We need to add. Okay, let's begin with setting up our Animesh. This could be anything, horse or humanoid. Basically, we add everything into our Animesh's content. 1 second. Okay, and I'll just open this as a. We add all the core files you receive, and let me just close this, and let's begin with setting up our Animesh either horse, humanoid, or Animesh object. So basically we put everything under the content of our Animesh object, and that includes all animations, all the props, and all the sounds, all the textures, and these core files. All of these that comes under the core file. Okay, including this one, this, and all of these. So and also our configuration file. You can add any of them in here, and probably in the final version you'll have only one configuration file that is valid for both riding and non-riding animations. So you add also the horse config file. The next thing, we make sure that or the description of or Animesh and the description of the HUD are the same as in here. So because of this, our HUD will only see the ones that has description of that exact match. So basically you can use this same HUD for multiple objects, but they all must have in their description the same text, in this same text of what HUD has, what the HUD has. Okay, and when that is done, the next thing is we make sure the ground is set to FX nav mesh. How you do that? Basically you just make sure you know the name of this in here. You can copy it, go to build, pet finding, region objects, just type, or you can change the name to something that's convenient, as you can find in here, and then just come here, set to walkable, apply the changes. Once you do that, go to build again, go to pet finding, and go to rebake region. Once you do that, and that means your floor is set to pathfinding, so that your Animesh objects or pathfinding objects now can move on it without sinking or staying above. Okay, the next thing is, just let me explain the HUD to you a little bit. The first part is the animations. You can use here as still animations or stories, and it's the same for here as well. You can put your stories in here. Of course, you can change the names in here to animation 1, animations 2, or anything you like. The setting parts is when you say select mesh, that selects the meshes that has the same description that the HUD has in the region. So set global position is the position of the animations. Each animation, if each animation doesn't have a local position. For example, if you want this animation to start in here, you come to here, and then while this one is clicked, of course you click animation 6, and then you just say set animation position, and that sets a local position for these animations. If an animation doesn't have a local position, it will play the global position. If you press the set global position, this position also will be global position. And any animation doesn't have a local position will play on the global position. And clear will clear the local position of the animation and set to global position. And rider position, rider rotation are self-explanatory. This is like when you click to it. If you sit on the horses, let me show it to you. These also were explained in the horses videos, so you can refer to these if you want to have a full grasp of this. So basically, let me sit here. When you actually, one sec. I'll do that actually on this one. Okay, sit here, and I'll say yes, and I'll say select Animesh. So actually, if you get this one, that means your horse's name cannot be any more than 24 characters. So basically, that means that's in here just too long. So you have to, in that case, I'll shorten this AAP. Sample horse. So I'll do the same thing again, select Animesh, and I'll select a horse, which is this one, and that's the only one which has the same description as this one. So now when we are here, if you press if you do that, of course, you have to give it between 20 to 30 seconds until it reads the configuration file inside it. Once it's done, and then you can set the rider position up, down, front, back, and as I said, these are self-explanatory. And the same thing for rotation as well, basically turn around, up, down on the x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis. Okay, and stop is if the animation is playing, if you press the stop, it's going to bring it to the global position, or if it has a local position, it's going to bring it to local position and stop. Reset will reset the old script in case if anything goes wonky and doesn't fix, and most of the time if you just press the reset scripts, it will reset all the scripts, and most of the time this will solve your problems. And these are the parts makes your parts. Let's say if the horse had, in this case the horse have only 4 faces, and these are like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. If you don't need, if you have only 4 faces, you can actually delete them, take this away. And if you press this on and off, this will hide the parts and show the parts. Let's say if in this case, if you didn't want to show the saddle, basically you can find the saddle face. You know, instead of this, you can maybe just say saddle in here, or put a saddle picture in here. So by pressing it, it will show and hide the saddle. And textures are self-explanatory. You need to under each texture, you need to put the texture under this. Go to here, come to here, edit length. Okay. Now under each of them, you need to put the texture inside this, and when you press this one, this will assign the texture. Let's say if you have a different color of horse, red horse, if you press this, and if you put the red texture under this, and if you press this, and it will assign that red color to this. Okay, call is self-explanatory. If you press call, the horse will come to you in the same region, and follow is this also is self-explanatory. If you press follow, the horse will follow you. Now let's see how we can set our Animesh object so that all these functions work for our Animesh object. So basically we do the settings, all the settings inside our configuration file. I'll just open the writing one so because I can show you the all settings in here. Okay, so basically now character radius is and character radius and length affects whether your Animesh object sinks in the ground or stays above the ground. Usually it is between 1 and 2. Basically, like for this horse it is 1.8, and the length is about, let me check, I'm not sure about that, but I'll also include this horse inside the this horse comes as a sample in your folder, so you can actually refer to this to get an idea of what the settings or what kind of settings you can put. In this case, these settings are the optimum settings that makes horse not sink or stay above the ground. Okay, and these types can be A, B, C, D. You can check this on the official Wikipedia of the character set. You can just basically search for in Google LL create character, and then you can see if you search this in Google, and this will take you to the Wikipedia of the create character, and then you can see the parameters what you can enter, what they are for on this on that page explained well. Basically, D is for animal. I think A or B is for human. As I said, if you go to wiki page, you'll see which one is for human. It doesn't make huge difference really. You don't see the when you put A or B, but it is defined D as an animal. So if you put if it is a humanoid, you can put A. If it is animal or pet, you can put D, or if it is vehicle, C. I'm not sure about that. But as to my observation, I didn't see much difference in movements. Maybe if the speed is too much, it might affect whether it is vehicle or human, slow move or fast move. Well, okay. The next thing is the character idle animations. You put the animations, more than one animations in here. Animation 1. You put these are the names, and the animations has to be under the content of your Animesh. Basically, animation 2, animation 3. What that is, if your horse is in idle position, stopping, doing nothing, or stops after all the sequences are finished, it picks one of these animations randomly and plays it. In this case, the horse has a couple of idle animations, eating and idle 1, idle 2. So it picks any of them, sometimes eating, sometimes standing, sometimes just little movement when it is idle. Default set avatar animations, when you have the animations in, let me just close this and go to here, animations in here. Usually you put the animation, let's say if you have a particular animation, particular rider animation for this animation, so you enter it here under these settings. So basically, if there's nothing in here, then it will. And if an avatar rode on your Animesh object, then this will play if there is no animation defined in here. So basically, and you can just again this rider animation. Let's say rider animation 1. Can put more than one in there too, so it will pick actually randomly as well. Animation 2, etc. Rider animation 2, and so on. The last one, if this is the last one, then there's no comma or dot or anything, but between them there has to be commas. And if you just put them with space, with a space, that doesn't matter. So the next one is the button name. So that name is for your convenience, because for example in here kick front, if you say kick front in here front, then you know when you see this one, this actually affects this one. So basically whatever you write in here, it doesn't matter. Next one are the animations, and this what you write here, it doesn't matter for it. It is the same thing for here. You can put only one single animation, let's say animation, or let's say kick front animation. Okay, and you can put only single animation, or you can put sequences of animations. And in that case, you put animation. If you put only, if you put single animation, let's say only one kick front animation, and you put 0, that means it will play indefinitely. Okay, but if you're adding next story, let's say it is walk, run. Of course, these names has to match inside those animations names. Let me show you. This animation, whatever you write in here, this animation has to be inside the content of your Animesh object, like those animations. Okay, but in that case, I'll just arbitrarily write walk, assuming that there's a walk animation inside the horse object, walk for 10 seconds, and then run for 20 seconds, and then walk again, or stop. You can say, sorry, I'm just taking it back to, there is another thing, and that's the greatest feature of this system. You can actually make path finding on and off. Basically, you can make your horse or your any Animesh object move on a path and then stop on a spot and for a while, and then move on again. Basically, you can make your let's say first one is walk, and then just stop and eat. Let's say I'll just say, for this one we want path finding on, so we say pf on. Okay, and next animation, let's say we want it to stop, eat, and eat for about 5 seconds or 10 seconds again, let's say, and then, well, in that case we want it to stop on a spot, so we say pf off, and then we want start walking again. Okay, so let's say walk another maybe 8 seconds, and then in that case we want it to move, pathfinding on, and then next one we want it to start running. Okay, run, and for about 20 seconds, and in that case again we want pathfinding on. So basically you can add as many animations as you like in here, but all of them have to have three entries in here. Even in the beginning I said you just only put walk and 0, but you actually put walk 0, and you have to say whether it's pathfinding on or off in here too. So if you add multiple animation, that's the way of it. You can just keep going, adding more animations in here. So pathfinding type is you have 3 types at your disposal. First one is random. Random means it will wander around within a certain radius. In that case, you have to also put comma and write the radius, let's say within 10 meters or 20 meters. And next one is custom. Custom is it will move on a custom path. Basically, you'll enter the path in here. I'll show how to set up a path in a second. And let's say you entered 5 custom points in here, so it will start from the first point, will move until the 5th point, and then it will stop. But if you put custom loop, okay, and then it will go to the 5th point, and it will start doing the same thing again and again. So basically, it will loop all of these animations on this path again and again. If you put custom loop, it will loop this animation. It will walk, eat, walk, that, and then go back again, walk, eat, walk, run, etc. The speed, you can also time the speed as well, or you can enter just one speed. But if in that case, basically, the speed will go take the seconds from here. For example, you put the first 10 seconds, which is in here. You want it to go, because it's going slow, let's say 4, and then it'll stop. So in that case, so we make it 0. So it'll go walk again 4, and then it'll go run, and in that case we can make 6 or 7, 8, whatever suits. So basically, the speed will change according to here. The next thing is the prop name. We enter the prop name. I'll show you in a minute how you can set up a prop. But you can also, let's say in that case, you in one of animations you can say a horse eating. But in that case, when you press the horse eating, and then you can have hay appear in front of the horse, and you write the prop name, let's say hay, and then you put the prop position and rotation. I'll show you in a second how you set up your prop and position. And prop delay is basically it is how long it will delay when you press the button. If you don't write anything, it will appear as soon as you press the button in here. But if you put, let's say, 5 seconds, it will appear when you press, let's say, animation in here, and it will wait 5 seconds, then it will appear. You can also put several props, like hey one. Can also time the props as well. You don't have to have one. Hey, let's say in here you can have a different prop, in here you can have a different prop. In that case, you also put the seconds in here as well. Let's say 10 seconds. 10 seconds later, you want this to disappear, and then hey 2 appear, and 20 for 20 seconds, etc., etc. So basically, and that's a bit a trial and error. You need to try and error, just to get the right settings for your, depends on what you're trying to do. The next one is in here is sound volume loop. Basically, sound, you entered sound name. Let's say in that case, if it is the horse running, or neighing, or running, anything basically. You can also time this as well and add multiple sound as well. Sound 1, okay, and the volume is between 0 and 1, let's say 0.5, and then loop is yes or no, basically 1 or 0. So basically, if you don't want it to loop, and then you press 0. Most of the time, if you have only one sound, you'll want it to loop. But if you're adding multiple sounds, you just continue doing the same thing. Sound 2, and then in that case, let's say we want full sound. Well, make sure you don't. Most of the time, if your script gives error, basically either you're forgetting. I mean, the formatting is quite important, and you have to put commas in between them, and you have to have 3 and 3 and 3 scallop lights. So basically, the last one, after the last one, you don't put anything. So basically, sound 2 and full volume. And do we want it to loop or not? We say no, or 1, yes. And then you can keep doing that. So. And again, the sounds will take the seconds from here too. Basically, you can create a sound for the first one, sound 2 for the second one, sound 3 for the third one, etc., etc. The avatar set name is the, if you have an let's say in that case, let's say it's running, and if you create that running pose for your avatar, for your if it is a rideable, and you just put the name of this rider 1 run. Rider anim run, and of course, as other things, you can sequence these as well, create multiple ones. Basically, say you want this to go for 10 seconds, and then rider anim 2 for go 20 seconds, and so on and so forth. But last one doesn't have any, so you have to. This one doesn't take from here, but you have to. This one is independent. Basically, you create first one 10 seconds, and then whatever. And again, that's trial and error to get the right settings for your Animesh object. Of course, and if you don't need any part of this, you can just if you don't, let's say if you didn't need any props, that doesn't come. Of course, you can just delete this. Any part you don't, and this will speed up reading these note cards. Usually that it takes about 30 seconds, But if you delete the parts you don't need, then you'll have it'll take much quicker to read the node cars. Okay, just put this back. Now these settings, even though it says animations 1, which is for here, and animations 2 for here, it says they are interchangeable. So you can actually basically whatever you do here, you can do it for here. If you want to use all 28 slots as just as single animations, or 28 slots as story animations, and you can use the same settings for both parts. Right at the bottom there's settings for call, which is here. You add the animations. Again, you add the animation when you call it, which animation, let's say walk or run, you want your horse to run to you, so basically horse run. Okay, and then the same thing like loop and sound, it's exactly the same as explained above. And the idle animation, when it runs and comes close to you, which close enough to you, and these settings are defined in that. Let me see what in here. Tolerance, offset. Offset means how many meters when it is away from you it is considered that it arrived to you. So basically, you know, it's in meters. And the speed, again, when the horse is running to you, and the same speed settings explained above. The bottom one is the follow, and that is when you press the follow, your Animesh object will follow you, and you can put the following animation, same like here, and the volume, same like here. Idle animation, exactly same when you stop, what animation your Animesh object will do. Tolerance is how near it can get to you. Offset is basically these are kind of same. It does. There's only very subtle difference, but they both do the same thing, tolerance and offset. Tolerance is basically, even that means if you set offset 3 meters, tolerance, if you set your tolerance to 2, that is defining how strict are you about, you want it 3 meter exactly, or if it is around 3 meter, is that okay? For example, like when you put 2 in here, 2 meter in here, that means between 1 to 5 will be fine, 2 above, 2 below, okay? So basically it is still considered, if it is 1 meter and 5 meter, it is still considered that it is following you. And speed as explained above. Now finally let me explain you how you can set up your pet finding. That's very easy to do. Basically that pet finding, you enter the values to here. You basically, let's say you create you want to create a pet, whether it's around or anything you like. If you want to create a pet, you just basically build a simple cube on the ground. Let me just get the moving object, okay? And then just you just put it where you like and just create your path. Let's say you want it to go, just go from a zigzag fashion. Let's say you want your Animesh object to go from here to here to here to here, okay? So basically you just take this one and just come to here, put the next one to here, and then the next one, just have you're holding shift and taking a copy of this, and like that. I just create just 4 points just to keep the video short. So this is your number 1 point, number 2 point, number 3 point, number 4 point. Basically it's gonna come like that, go like that, and come back like that. So you just get the values of this. You just go to Control 3 or open edit window under the object, and you just go to position, and you just open a bracket. That's important. Not in here, sorry, I meant pet in here. Pet, you just get 103.8. You don't really have to go, that's like, unless you're really particular about a specific point. And even you can just go 103.0 or 103.4, 104.0. Okay, and the next one is 54.5 and 16. You can actually copy this. Well, I'll just make it 9 because really Z doesn't matter once it is pet finding on. Even if it is in the sky, they'll actually fall down to the floor, so it doesn't really matter. I usually copy this and paste this all the time. So just next one, for between the brackets you have to put for the next one, you put the bracket, you put the comma, and then open bracket again, and then you just come to next point, and then you open the 125.0, 148.0, and just paste as I did before, so on and so forth. And the last one doesn't have, well, you go to bracket and bracket again, x y z, but after the, and then you put another one, okay, and the last one, after the last one you don't put any comma. This is the last one. That, so basically if you make custom, it'll go these points and will stop here, but if you make custom loop, it'll go here and go back to here and will loop the same thing again. How you set up your prop? Lastly, you set up prop position and rotation. Basically, let's say this is your prop, hay, jumping board, couch, whatever you like. Just give it a proper name in here first, and under your scripts, just let me find it. You must have, well, it is not in here, but you will have under the scripts file, I'll just pause the video 2 seconds and try to find it for you. Okay, you put the prop position, you just open this one under the content of your prop, okay? And that's as simple as that, and just basically, you then adjust the point according to your, the position of this is not global, it's not a world position, but it's actually according to your object. So basically, even if you set this right in front of your horse or your object, even if you move your horse to here, it will actually appear right in front of your horse again. Basically, you just, after you're happy with the position, you just touch it, and then here you get the position and rotation. Basically, you copy this value, position value, and enter here, and the rotation value to here, and that is pretty much the everything, and you're good to go.